Module 7.1, Part 1, one-step inequalities. So you'll notice there's the same root word, equal, but in meaning not equal, right? So I can solve inequalities. Inequalities are a relationship between quantities that are not equivalent. So these are our greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, and less than or equal to signs. This is what an inequality is. All right. So today we're just going to talk about how to graph them to remind ourselves or make sure we know how to graph them. Inequalities get graphed because they don't have one answer. They have many answers that make the statement true. And so we have to represent all of those answers somehow. And I can't write them all down. Okay. So the symbols always represent the same thing. So this symbol stands for less than. It always will be read as less than. It can be said as fewer than or below. So greater than, this is always a greater than symbol. Again, more than or above. This is a less than or equal to symbol. It is at most, that's the highest you can go, no more than, right? And then the last one is it's a greater than or equal to symbol, and it's at least no less than. Sometimes we call this one our maximum and this one our minimum, right? Maximum, minimum. Highest point, lowest point. So how would we read this first one? Y is less than or equal to -3. So the reason we graph it, like I said, is because there's so many answers. There's so many numbers that are less than -3. I can't write them all down. Okay, so we go to that number, -3, and we mark it. Okay, now because it's equal to, we actually are going to color it in. Okay, so a less than or equal to will be what we call a closed circle. And so will be a greater than or equal to. And that's because, sorry, I'm just going to write the word closed. That's because it's equal to, meaning -3 is a part of the answers. So it's equal to, that's why we close it. Now we need to represent all the numbers less than -3. So that's the direction we're going to then graph. So since all of these numbers are less than -3, we draw an arrow in that direction. And you'll notice I also still draw an arrow because I need to show that I'm going to keep going this way and this way and this way. You'll also notice I kind of go slightly above the line. Some people like to go like this. Okay, either or is fine. But one thing you do have to do is put the dot on the number line. Okay, we're representing that number. Okay, so this one is 1 is less than m. So that means m is bigger than 1, right? 1 has to be less than m. So when we have less than, 1 can't be included. It's not equal to. So we're going to have it be open. Okay, and that's true for greater than as well, because an open circle means we start here, right? We're going to start here, but I can't have it be 1. It's not equal to, so we leave it open. So the way you check on which way you want to go, this symbol, these are not arrows. They're called inequalities. They are not arrows. So do not follow them just because it's going that way. It does not mean my line goes that way. The way we check is we look. If I put 0 here, I make this 0. Is 1 less than 0? No, 1 is not less than 0. But if I plug in 2, is 1 less than 2? Yes. And since 1 is less than 2, that's the direction I want to go with my arrow. And so you can see this time I just drew it above. I didn't even draw out the whole number line, but I did show that that line is going to continue going that way. And that's because all of these numbers would make it true. 1 less than 10? Yes. All right, last one. So why don't you pause, see if you can do this one after what we talked about on your own. Okay, so this is also a less than, so that means it's going to be an open circle. We're going to start at -4, have it be open. I want all the numbers t to be less than -4. So -5 less than -4, yes. So your arrow should have gone that way because these are all the numbers that are less than -4. So here's a story problem. To test the temperature rating of a coat, a scientist keeps the temperature below 5 degrees Celsius. Write and graph an inequality to represent this situation. So if we go back and look at our first page, up above for you guys, you can see it says below right here. Below is less than. So we're going to use a less than symbol. Right? I'm going to use T for that temperature. We keep the temperature below 5 degrees Celsius. We cannot have it be equal to. All right, so we want the temperature to stay below 5 degrees Celsius. So there's my inequality. Because there's so many numbers that are less than 5, we have to graph it. So I start at 5. 4 less than 5, yes. So that's the direction my arrow is going to go. All right, each package must weigh more than 2 ounces. So why don't you pause, try this one as well, and see if you can write and graph this one. So if we go back and look at our words, we want more than, well, that's a greater than symbol. More than is a greater than symbol. So we should have had a greater than symbol. We want the packages, maybe we put a P, to be more than 2 ounces. So there's my inequality. Should have started at 2, left the circle open, and we want everything to be bigger than that. So 1 greater than 2, nope. 3 greater than 2, yes. So you can see I check it, like when do I say yes? That's the way my arrow needs to go. So remember, the inequality is not an arrow. Okay, we need to make that very clear. The inequality symbol is not an arrow. Okay, make that a little bit smaller so it fits on the screen. And then also inequalities. Have to be graphed because they have many solutions. We can't write them all, so that is why we graph them. So they'll always come in pairs. All right, so you're going to write and graph this down below using your correct symbol and using the correct words. Okay, until next time.